get the job done.
Kickoffs at 8 p.m. NRL coverage with pit stops. Save up to $100 with this month's break special. The Highlanders are wary of a Waratahs side riding high after upsetting the Crusaders heading into tonight's Super Rugby Pacific encounter in Sydney. Highlanders coach Clark Dermody says the Waratahs are a well-rounded group.
Big ball carriers, 9 and 10 direct them around the field really well, and Gordon and Edmund. They're a good team. They've got a bit to play for.
Kick-off 9:35 p.m. Live commentary on Gold Sport and iHeartRadio as for all our Kiwi teams. And 2 late COVID-enforced changes for the champion Crusaders who face the Fijian Drua tomorrow in Lautoka. Jeremiah Murray replaces left wing Manasa Mataele and prop Joe Moody comes in on the bench for Kershaw Sykes-Martin. The table-topping Wellington Phoenix men will have to make do without one of their star strikers again for tomorrow's trip to Melbourne City. Polish import Oscar Zavada's still on the injured list and may require more scans, but New Zealand international marksman Costa Barbarouses is back to full fitness and should get game time. I'm Richard Wayne, that's Newstalk ZB News and Sport with Pet Pong gone, the all-new pet odour remover from Wet and Forget. 5:05. Heather du Plessis-Allan is next.
Newstalk ZB Auckland. Time saver traffic.
Get KFC's $14.99 Zinger Stinger. Now starting with the Southern Motorway southbound slow from the Newmarket flyover. Citybound is crawling Bombay to Drury, then again from Manukau. Southwest and southbound moderate through the Waterview Tunnel, then slow from Nielsen. Northbound is crawling Great South Road to Onehunga. The northwest and westbound slow Grafton Gully to Bond, and then heavy from the Causeway. Zinger Burger, piece of chicken, wicked wing and sides, $14.99 at KFC. That's traffic.
Newstalk ZB Weather Watch 24/7 with Panasonic Prime Plus fridges, style and smarts. Manukau and Waitemata Harbours southwest 10 knots, rising to 15 for a time later on. Hauraki Gulf southwest 15, easing to 10 later on this evening. Breamhead to Cape Colville southwest 15, easing to 10 for a time. The next high tide in Auckland is coming up at 6:30 this evening, at Onehunga 10 tonight. In Auckland, cloudy periods with the odd shower about and an overnight low of 14 degrees. Tomorrow, partly cloudy and fresh southwesterlies, a high of 22. On Sunday, fine with northeasterlies easing in the evening and a high of 24. Right now in downtown Auckland, it is 22 degrees.
Pressing the newsmakers to get the real story. It's Heather du Plessis-Allan Drive with One New Zealand, one giant leap for business. Newstalk ZB.
Good evening. TVNZ shows Sunday fair go. The midday and late news tonight are all set to be axed. The state broadcaster is looking to cut 68 roles across the business. That's 9% of the staff working there. Now, last week, TVNZ announced a huge loss of $17 million in the 6 months to December. The chief executive, Jodi O'Donnell, is with us. Hey, Jodi.
Hi, Heather.
Thank you for your time. Why are you cutting fair go?
We don't want to be here talking about cutting any shows, actually. It's been an incredibly hard decision and an incredibly hard day today for us to make any decisions or what the future of TVNZ will look like.
So why fair go?
Again, it's only a proposal at this stage. So we've spent the last 7 months working across the business to try and find cost savings, and we're now at the stage that we need to do something more significant. And so we've had a look at all of our options. I've been quite open with the fact that there are no sacred cows, and we need to find some ways to stop doing some things for us to reduce our costs.
And Sunday, because Sunday apparently is reasonably popular, massive audience, one of the top 5 TV programs in the country.
Yeah, look, we don't want to make any decisions around, what is amazing journalism. And TVNZ is still investing over $40 million in news and current affairs. So we absolutely believe in the future of news and current affairs. But we have a situation right now that our operating model is more expensive than the revenue that we're making. And we have to make some really tough decisions.
Shorty Street, has that been spared?
We're looking at everything at the moment, Heather.
What, so you haven't even finished? I mean, this is the start of it.
We'll constantly be looking at things to keep the operating model in line with what our revenue is. I mean, we are a commercial business, so that's the remit that we need to work in. We operate within the TVNZ Act, and that is clear that we need to be a commercial broadcaster.
There are rumours going around that Shorty Street gets cut from 5 days a week to 3. Is that possible?
I think when you think about all of our content, you need to think about how it might live in a digital world. And so when we go through all of our content decisions, we'll put it through that lens.
Okay. Did you think about cutting the hour-long bulletin down to 30 minutes?
No, we didn't think about that.
Why?
We looked at everything, but what we see with the 6 p.m. and the 1 hour news bulletin is it's an incredibly profitable hour of broadcasting, and it also delivers incredibly strong on our digital platform TVNZ Plus.
So you are still making money on the 6 p.m. bulletin?
We are still making money on the 6 p.m. bulletin, yes.
Now, what has happened, Jodi? Because it wasn't that long ago that you guys said you're going to lose $15 million across a year. All of a sudden, it's like $17 million across 6 months. How did it get so bad so quickly?
Look, we're not alone in this place. You've obviously seen lots of other media companies going through this over the last few weeks as well. Since our new financial year started, we have seen continued declines in advertising revenue. And so that's not necessarily just a economic challenge, it's also a market structure challenge. And we're increasingly seeing that more as there's been some really tough announcements over the last couple of weeks within media organisations.
So we're talking about an economy that's slowing down, but you're talking about also the fact that you guys are getting done over basically by the Facebooks and the Googles and stuff like that, who you can advertise on for cheaper, right?
Our competitors these days are not yourself or Sky or Warner Brothers, but they are Google and they are Meta, and these are multi-trillion-dollar organisations. And as lots of the media have been saying over the last couple of weeks, it's clear that 90 cents in every dollar spent in digital news advertising is going offshore. That's 10 cents left for the likes of NZME, TVNZ, Stuff, any of the other local broadcasters, and that's a challenge.
And it doesn't stop. So what's the fix?
I think the government is definitely hearing a lot more from the media sector, and I know that there's obviously the Fair News Digital Bargaining Bill in front of them at the moment. I don't think that's the only fix. I think that could be part of the fix, but we need to look at a much broader review of the Broadcasting Act, for example. You still can't advertise on television on a Sunday morning at the moment. Yep. I mean, that's how outdated that act is. So there's a lot of things around prominence for local media, and yes, how are we going to actually ensure that we protect local media and news and journalism with the likes of Google and Facebook being within our country? Do
you want the government to impose a levy on those guys, the Facebooks and the Googles, and then return the levy to you guys and all the other media here?
I think that's something that the government will need to propose. I think we need to be really careful with direct funding of news organisations. I think particularly in this environment of trust, I think it's important that is really really clear, and it's still independence. So I think that there's options that they could do, but we need to be really careful about any sort of direct funding.
Do you have a favourite option?
I don't think it's one. There's multiple. There are lots of things, as I've just mentioned earlier, whether it's the Broadcasting Act, whether it's charging or being able to tax the global streamers. I think it's all of the options.
Does the government need to make TVNZ commercial free completely?
That's the question for the shareholder. I can't answer that question.
Well, what would you say to them?
Well, at the moment, we are governed by the TVNZ Act, and we are a commercial business, and that's what we get on and do.
Should we sell you?
Again, that's a question for the shareholder.
What would you say? Would anybody buy you if we sold you?
Well, I don't know the answer to that question. I think that would be interesting to see what the market said. I'm incredibly ambitious in terms of what the future of TVNZ can be with our digital platform, and I think that, whilst this is a really tough time at the moment, I believe that the TVNZ Plus platform and our digital ecosystem still has a lot to offer New Zealanders, and I think that that's a really valuable, bright future.
Yeah, but Jodi, okay, because this is your future, right? This is what you're pumping all your money into, taking it away from, well, not taking it away from linear TV, but shifting your focus from linear TV to what's going on online. But haven't you missed the boat? Because you're competing against Netflix and Neon and Apple TV, and I'm loving that content. Why would I come to you instead?
Because we offer a really broad range of content, and local is still an incredibly important part of that. And so as we build out that platform, which we actually launched in 2008, so we're actually very new in the streaming space, but as we build out that platform, that's the challenge that we've got in front of us, is we need to be able to balance the broadcast business that we have today, which is still incredibly important and reaches over 2 million people, along with building our digital platform, because we know that that's the future.
Jodi, when are you looking at further cuts, if they're necessary?
We don't have any other cuts on the cards at this stage. What I would say, though, is that we need to continue to operate with whatever our revenue line will tell us.
When are you going to have a look at Shorty Street? Because it feels like that future's not certain.
We're looking at everything across the board.
Okay. Jodi, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. That's Jodi O'Donnell, the Chief Executive of TVNZ. It's 5:14.
Let your local SBA accounting team keep your tax and accounting on track. Sign up now and be in to win some great prizes. Visit sba.co.nz.
At Bunnings, a fresh coat of paint can make a little go a long way in your home with our lowest prices. Make painting easy with this Monarch 4-piece walls and ceiling